Alright. Alright, so today, I don't know what I'm doing, but pretty much the video is going to be me going through what I'm going to pack for, I think it's like a 3-day trip down to Pennsylvania with my family for a fishing stream and some camping. So this is what I'm going to bring for the trip, starting with like our lures, then our soft plastics, then like our bags, and then poles or like what other stuff we might need. First of all, I made this thing yesterday. It's kind of cool, I guess. Alright, so let's start with hard baits. So, 2 of the hard baits I'm bringing are already strung up on my rods because I fished a little bit this morning. But, pretty much what we're going to be bringing is we've got a big old cotton cordell. I think it's like some sort of shad colored crankbait, square bill. It's pretty good. And then we've got, what is this one? We've got a Rebel R bluegill square bill. That's probably really good. We've got a Rebel R popper mini. I think this is some sort of frog popper thing, I don't know. And then we've got a random jerkbait, which I'm not sure what brand that is. So that's our hard, well, actually no, that's not all of our hard baits, but we'll get to the other 2 hard baits in a second after this stuff. So that's that. So then we move on to our soft plastics, which, alright, so first off, we've got a Renegade pack of BC soft crawls. So these things are old as hell. Then we pull out the big boys. So we've got, let's see here, what do we have in here? We've got Tournament Series, Squirm and Shad, Arkansas Shiner. I don't know what's in here. We've got a bag of like flukes and some grubs there. We've got some cut up little bits of worm baits that I found randomly. We've got trout nibbles. Those will be good for where I'm fishing because it's going to be a stream. I don't know what fish are in there though. We've got another random pack of worm things. We've got Zoom Trick Worms Black Yellow Swirl. Pretty good color. We've got Curly Tails in like a purple maroon shine, I guess. We've got Curltail Worms in Tequila Sunrise. Alright, we've got Zoom Super Salts, or Baby Brush Hogs in Watermelon Red. And then a bunch of other random soft plastics that I'm not sure what the names of those are. So those are our soft plastics. Those are what we have soft plastic wise. Let me put these away real quick and we'll get to the other stuffs. Because now we're going on to like all of our other like metal or like spoons and stuff. And I have a lot of those. So it's going to be a little bit more cramped. Or not cramped, but there's going to be a lot more there. Okay, so now we move on to miscellaneous / jigs and spoons. So, we'll just set this here. We have what I like to call the Coca-Cola spoon because of the colors. It's a pretty good spoon. We have some sort of jig head / frog popper thing that randomly came out of a cheap kit I got. A little bit of a worm on there. Not necessarily sure if I'll use that. It's just in here. We've got some of the more beat up. We got a beat up spoon. Not sure what I'm gonna do with that. Jig heads. Damn it. Alright. We've got black jig head. We've got another black jig head. I'm pretty sure this is on a circle hook, so we've got we've got a drop shot or trick worm, whatever it's called. Random ass circle hook, pre-rig thing. And then just to show you what I mean by it's all a bunch of random. This is what I mean by it's all a bunch of random jigs heads. So that's just kind of the miscellaneous parts of that. I mean, I guess if you can consider a lot of that maybe not miscellaneous, but kind of is still. So I'm just gonna classify that. So let's just put all of this stuff back real quick, and then we can move on to probably move on to the bags next, and then we'll do probably yeah. Alright, yeah. So then that's one done. So we can move that out of the way. Alright, now on to this. So this is the bag. I use an Ugly Stick bag, same brand as my rod. So we've got a pair of sunglasses. Of course, that's a must-have. You gotta have that. It's really hard to see water if you don't have it. All right, so let's start with the outside pockets here. So we've got duct tape, stringer. We have some sort of leader hook, I think. I don't know what this thing is. And then we've got a bunch of bobbers and stuff. So that's just in that pocket there. So we've got my knife. You never know when I'm gonna have to cut a fish. I don't know what this is randomly. It's just a random thing. We've got. Alright, here we go. So got a gold jig that shouldn't be in there. A bunch of soft plastics that shouldn't be in there. Don't know why they are. Got my wallet. I don't know what that thing is. Now, hot take. Usually people use a rock to kill the fish before slitting its throat. But I find it most effective to use a baseball and drop it on its head to knock it out before slitting its throat to bleed it out. Just because, it's not just gonna fully rip off the fish's head and take away any of the meat. It'll do a better job of killing it while also yielding the most meat if you're fishing for food, I guess is how I would present that. Alright, so that's that pocket. Hold on. Where how did I put that jig? Oh, jig right here. Okay. Let's just move that jig into there. Alright, let's move on to our second side pocket here. We've got a bag of hooks that shouldn't be in there. We need to change that to a different area. And then we've got this. If I'm fishing on the side of the road, you gotta be seen. Because if I'm fishing from a bridge, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So that's that pocket. So then that's that. Alright, so pretty much what's in this pocket here is we've got a whole lot of snell hooks. A whole lot of snell hooks. And they're really all tangled up, which is not good. I don't know how to untangle them without cutting them. That's probably a better way to do that. Anyways, so yeah, we've got about a whole bunch of snell hooks here. Let's just redo this thing real quick. These things aren't just flying around everywhere when I going on in Pennsylvania. Alright, yeah. So, we've got all of our Schnells. Alright. So then, this pocket here doesn't have anything else in it. This usually would be what houses my hard bait box, because it's small enough to like, keep it all in there. Alright, so now we move on to this main compartment here. And this is where a lot of the stuff is kept. So, you open this pocket right here that's under this thing, and you've got a scissors, multi-tool, second pair of pliers, and you've got all your bobbers. Well, not all your bobbers. You got a bunch of your bobbers, though. Yeah. So you've got your gloves. That's a must-have. You never know. Got gloves. My main pair of fishing pliers, tiny pair of scissors, which I'm going to put back into this main pouch because that's where they deserve to go. Alright, so we've got an Angler Tools fillet knife. It's pretty decent fillet knife. Then, if you were to open this, you've got a bigger pair of scissors, another bobber. Then this box here is just my main kind of hook and or sinker area. And I also have some small spoons in here. So let's see, we've got a smaller spoon here. You've got another smaller spoon here. Pretty sure this is called a barrel weight, I think. I don't know. We've got a bunch of drop shots. You know, classics, gotta have those. We've got, you know, like, I think these are 1 ounce leads. Gonna have those. Got another little, like, I'm not sure what kind of weight that is there. Got a very long J hook. You've got a bunch of snap swivels. Got these, like, I'll get one out of here. You got these teensy little jig hooks here. You've got little mini hooks. A lot of just random hooks and stuff. There's a lot of random things in there, you know. Alright, so now let's get all of this packed into our bag before we go, so we can have all this organized before we actually leave. Now, it's not for another like 3 or 4, maybe 6 days until we go. I just like to be prepared and like have all my stuff all set up and ready, because I just want to be prepared constantly. Alrighty, so let's see here. Since we're not going to be bringing this whole big box of soft plastics, that's why I have this thing. We only need to bring like this many. We only need to bring like this amount here. So then let's start by putting cases and then soft plastics and gloves and stuff in. So we've got our 2 free cases here. Right. We got our soft plastics in there. Okay. Let's just handle our gloves. Gloves go in there. Let's take this. So you got a fillet knife. Right. So that's that. Pocket and stuff all set. I don't know where to put this one. We can just put this one down here. The rest of the scissors and stuff. Rest of the skizzers. And then we can zip this up. So, alright, let's see here. Let's clear out some space to make some room. So, we've gotten that figured out. Alright, so we've gotten that. I really don't feel like having that hitting me all the time, so we're going to take that out of there. Same with this. So that's going to be our little bobber compartment, because we're not going to be needing too many bobbers. Because it's mostly, a lot of this area that I'm going to is going to be a lot of creek fishing and probably some river fishing. So I won't need that much, like, in regards to bobbers. I don't think. I mean, maybe I will. Like, I've never really been here before, but all of my grandparents on my mom's side and my brother have, like, fished here, so I don't know. So let's see. So that's done. Okay, so then now you may be wondering, what do we put the fish that we catch in after we catch said fish? Well, that depends on the size or the type. If it's panfish, we can legally harvest that for our own food. That's illegal to sell in New York State, though, so that can't be sold commercially. But here's what we do to keep those fish cool. So, if we catch fish that we want to bring back for food or for one day, we've got a little tiny cooler. You know, our limit, I'm pretty sure the limit for how many panfish or bluegill you can bring back in New York State is 25, but that's also only New York State, and I'm not sure what the other limits are. Alright, so now let's go on to our rods. So, starting off with the first rod I ever really fished with, technically, we've got a Zebco Slingshot, which, for what it is, it's a good rod. It's not that great, though. You've got a little whopper, or not whopper popper, you got a top water bait on here. You know, just miscellaneous. Might be good, might be bad, I'm not sure. Not really fished with it much. Then you've got the beast. And this is where one of my other crankbaits was on. So we've got like a chartreuse, orange, kind of green tip square bill on a Ugly Stick GX2 spinning combo, which is my main rod. So that's the rods. And then that's about it. Anybody who watched this, like and subscribe, and I must definitely start posting a lot more YouTube videos.